I mean, I've seen seizures on TV, but I've never seen one in real life. And so this man had come out of the house. He saw the commotion we were going on in the car there, but when he came out, he knew right away
Hmm.
what was going on. And he was telling me she's having a seizure, and because he worked in a prison and here in North Carolina, and he was familiar with seizures. And so one thing led to another, and I called the ambulance, and the ambulance came, and I followed and went to the hospital, and that's when our journey began
Oh.
uh, through the diagnosis. Because when we got to the hospital, they did all kinds of tests, and they thought it may have been a heart attack because there was a spot on her brain, and they were thinking maybe that was a she had a heart attack. But finally we she got released from the hospital, and then we had a appointment to go see the neurosurgeon, or I believe the neurologist.
Hmm.
And one thing led to another, and we had gone, I think, I can't remember if it was before or after, but the neurosurgeon obviously had some scans, and we were in his office, and he told us the news that it was stage 4 brain cancer.
Wow.
And we were shocked because she never had family in her cancer or mine. And it's like we hardly spoke on the way home because we were in such a shock.
Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of Third Chances. My today guest is someone I met on Facebook, and we got into deep conversations, and I learned about his story and his first wife's story, which is pretty touching, and I thought it deserves to be told and perhaps used for some people to inspire them that no situation is the ending, that we all have always tools and chances to recover and become somebody that we never knew we can be, perhaps. So Stan, he was married for 34 years to his first wife until she was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer. She lived 4.5 years with that diagnosis before she lost that battle.
Right.
About a year after Stan lost her, he himself got diagnosed with a chronic lymphocytic, I don't even know how to say it,
Lymphocytic. Yeah.
lymphocytic leukemia, which is a type of lymphoma. Stan was soon on a mission to explore, research, and test different solutions and modalities available. It's all we are here about. And he eventually became a health coach because he wanted to know how he could fight his own cancer. His goal now is to inspire people to live healthy so they can live their life to the fullest. Stan, that's a some resume. Welcome to my podcast. Please tell us where you're calling from.
Yeah. Good to be here, Vera. I'm calling from Raleigh, North Carolina, the great state.
Yeah, I hope you don't have issues with that deep wrenching rain right now because we are recording in July and
Right.
there have some issues there.
It's just hot.
Well, let me start a little deeper with your life story because you briefly mentioned your first wife. Do you
Right.
mind going there and talk a little bit about it, how you
Sure.
guys lived and what you did? Health-wise, was there issue always, or were you pretty healthy and it came as a
Yeah.
surprise?
Well, this was probably back around between 8, 9 years ago. Um, I can remember we had left church,
Hmm.
and we stopped by the grocery store, and she ran in to get some things and came back out to the car, and we were headed home. And then we talked a little bit, and then I was asking her some questions in the car, and she never would respond.
Hmm.
And I kept asking, Martha, Martha. And her head was looking out the window and she was just not responding. I didn't know if she couldn't hear me or what was going on. So I kind of realized at that point, well, not at that point, but later I realized she was having a seizure.
Oh.
And I've never seen a seizure
And you
in
were
my life.
driving, so you can't really do anything, right?
Right. But I pulled off to the side in our community. I hadn't reached our home yet. And I grabbed hold of her and was trying to talk to her. I mean, I've seen seizures on TV, but I've never seen one in real life. And so this man had come out of the house. He saw the commotion we were going on in the car there. But when he came out, he knew right away
Hmm.
what was going on. And he was telling me she's having a seizure, and because he worked in a prison and here in North Carolina, and he was familiar with seizures. And so one thing led to another, and I called the ambulance, and the ambulance came, and I followed and went to the hospital, and that's when our journey began
Oh.
um, through the diagnosis. Because when we got to the hospital, they did all kinds of tests, and they thought it may have been a heart attack because there was a spot on her brain, and they were thinking maybe that was a she had a heart attack. But finally we she got released from the hospital, and then we had a appointment to go see the neurosurgeon, or I believe the neurologist.
Hmm.
And one thing led to another, and we had gone, I think, I can't remember if it was before or after, but the neurosurgeon obviously had some scans, and we were in his office, and he told us the news that it was stage 4 brain cancer.
Wow.
And we were shocked because she never had family in her cancer or mine. And it's like we hardly spoke on the way home because we were in such a shock.
Yeah. And there
And
was no previous warnings, right? There was nothing. It just happened so suddenly.
it just happened because you
Wow.
just never know. Just
Yeah.
right there, one moment, one incident.
Could you go back to, I'm assuming we never spoke about it, but you don't have a medical degree, or you are not, you were never in a health kind of space, right?
No.
What did you guys do? How did you live your life? Would you consider you live pretty healthy, or kind of like normal American style?
Well, we were involved. We did a lot of things with our church.
Hmm.
We were involved with the church, and we both worked full-time jobs. Have 2 children, but we were not into health. I mean, we were from the South, and being in the South, it's like colas, pies, dessert. The South
Fried
type of
food.
eating,
Yeah.
and that's what we did.
Hmm.
Barbecues, chicken barbecues, pork barbecue. I mean, I was not healthy as I should. Matter of fact, during that time, back at that time, I was diagnosed with prediabetes and prehypertension. And I thought to myself, okay, that's just part of life.
Yeah,
And did I do anything about it? Nope.
that's unfortunate. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
your doctor ask you to change your lifestyle or anything?
No, I mean, as you know, most medical doctors are really not into nutrition.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not against it, but they're not really into nutrition. They'll probably just tell you to go see a nutrition if
Mm.
I asked questions and wanted to know more. But he just told me, basically maybe to watch what I ate,
Yeah.
but that was about as far as it
But
went.
what does it mean, right?
Yeah, what does it
Yeah.
mean?
And your wife was pretty healthy?
She was about like me. Yeah, for the most part, I mean, we were healthy in the sense of we had no sickness or no
Right.
disease or anything of that nature. Um, but we were pretty good, you know, otherwise just living life to the fullest and just enjoying life, enjoying our jobs and kids and so forth.
Yes, crazy. It's like ticking bomb in you that you have no warnings and then it hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have experienced something similar with my husband's diagnosis, and it's so I can feel for you.
Wow.
It's really
Mm.
shocking. Yeah. And so that happened, and you were you at that point actively looking for something to help her, or did you go to traditional route with the treatment for her?
Well, at that time, I didn't know much about traditional routes back at that time. This was back probably, like I said, between 7 and 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there was not much on the internet. I found what we're doing now. I mean, I didn't know anything about, uh, how's the saying go? What I know now, I wish I knew back then,
Yeah.
that maybe it could have helped her, made her live longer. Um, but that's basically the extent of it. But no, there was nothing. We were just so caught up in the moment about what's the next step. We had to make schedules for her surgery and
Yeah.
MRIs, and we went to Duke, to the Duke Cancer Center. That was about 45 minutes away. And that was our life, traveling
Yeah.
back and forth each week to the Duke Cancer Center. Uh, my wife, over the 4.5 years, probably had about at least 30 MRIs.
Wow.
Um, she was getting pricked and poked with needles. It was extremely tiring for both
Yeah.
of us, but it was especially for her.
And I'm sure financially as well.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah, we go check in. Of course, they want their copay or whatever it is to pay, and if we couldn't pay at that moment, we had to ask about the payment plan or what have you. So yes, it can get
Yeah.
financially draining.
Plus, she couldn't work, and yeah, it's really tragedy. Sometimes I talk to people when they think that taking care of their health is expensive, and it's such a cliche when somebody say, "Wait, how expensive it's when you lose it," but you really
Yeah.
don't know until it happens, and in both cases, for my husband and for your first wife, it happened suddenly. There was
Yeah.
no warning sign, no stuff in the
Nothing.
blood work that will raise the red flags, and it's really could be very shocking and scary. I can
Oh
just
yeah,
imagine.
it
Wow.
is.
So she was in a medical treatment. Did they give her a prognosis? How can you just like touch on it a little bit?
Well, well, having a stage 4 cancer is probably the worst diagnosis you probably could get, humanly speaking.
Yeah.
And yes, there is a certain amount of time that you have. They never said that, but when it's stage 4, it's very, very critical.
Hmm.
And but we had our awesome moments. We had our victories, and we didn't have our victories. We had our lows. And there were times when we did her MRI, we saw no growth, or we did another MRI and it wasn't anything. And it's just, and they did the nurses, the doctors did their testing on her. They asked her to walk and, try to walk in a straight line because the side of the tumor was on the side that dealt with her mobility.
Oh,
And so they were keeping an eye on that, how she acted. And it got to a point where she couldn't even write or spell, couldn't even walk,
yeah.
and she was going to a wheelchair. And but we tried different things in the sense of this new immunotherapy, I believe it was. I've seen it advertised on TV, and of course, I think it's called Keytruda. And I wanted her to try that, but it was
Yeah.
toward the end where she was just so tired. She was so tired of it all that she wanted to stop.
Mm.
And yeah, so it was grueling. It was, but the
Yeah.
prognosis was not good. And even when she stopped, I had to go talk to the oncologist. I said, listen, okay, she stopped. She doesn't want to take it no more. Can you tell me how long does she have to live? And she said, well, to be very honest, probably another 3 months
Wow.
is what she said. But thankfully, she lived another 6 months. And I was thankful for that.
Yeah.
But, in hindsight, like I said, what I know now, I wish I knew back then, because my full attention was on her and not myself. And as you'll find out in a little bit later about what went on with me.
Yeah. Can I ask you? I think you mentioned that she had a surgery. So were they trying to remove the tumor?
Yes,
Yeah.
they had surgery and they removed all they could see.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when the doctors come in and said she did good and they got all the cancer, back then I was going, yes, praise
Right.
God, what? But the situation, they got all they saw that was growing.
Mm.
And so that was a victory. And of course, she was in recovery. And of course, before she even left the hospital, they said there's a possibility she could have another seizure because of the swelling, after the surgery. And she did have a seizure, and they had to bring her back in before she left home. And I was a little nervous for her to go home because, to see your wife have a seizure, you
Yeah.
feel helpless. What do you do?
Yeah.
And you
Exactly.
can't hold them or restrain them. That'll even hurt them worse.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tough.
No, it's scary stuff because especially when you are not experienced in the medical field or never came across of anything like that, it's really tough. I'm so sorry to hear that, Stan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I met you as a promoter of healthy living, which is quite a difference from that time. And I just want to ask you, was that what triggered it, or was it your diagnosis that triggered it?
Well, I had three wake up calls. And the first one I mentioned back earlier, I had the doctor said I had pre-diabetes and pre-hypertension. That was my first wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
But did I answer it? No, I
Yeah.
didn't. That's just part of life and went on. My second wake up call was my wife was diagnosed with brain cancer. That was tough, you know. And you wonder how does she get brain cancer? Was it her diet? Was it environmental? Was it, things just go through your head and
You didn't get
they
any answers, did you?
no answers.
Yeah.
And of course that looked at me too, about my life, what am I doing health wise? But that was my second wake up call. And my third wake up call that really did it, and I did answer the call and I woke up, was when a year after she passed away, I was diagnosed with lymphoma, or to be exact, is CLL, which is chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which is a blood cancer, to be
Yeah.
very honest. And it
Yeah.
affects your white blood cells. It affects all your red blood cells, platelets, and things of that nature. And some of the symptoms of that is, which I do have, I have swollen lymph nodes under my armpit and some in my neck around the small ones. They go and up and down. And so that was my wake up call at that point.
My podcast is called Third Chances, right?
Okay, right. That's true. I didn't
I just
put that
realized
together.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't put that together.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. Yeah. Don't we do the same thing that we think that we got the message and then we just keep on going with our regular life until we get stopped again, and if that wasn't enough, then again. uh, it's,
Exactly. Yeah.
I had my 3 back surgeries. I also didn't learn my lesson after first 2 ones. That's
Right.
unfortunate. Yeah. Hey.
Yeah.
At least we did eventually. So okay, this is I don't want to be very depressing
Oh
for
no,
our
no.
listeners to hear, but obviously Stan is here and he's helping others now to
Right.
live better lives. So
But I
walk me
was,
through how it
okay.
started with you. Yeah, please.
Well, to go back with my wife, as you know, when my wife had cancer, I was focused on her.
Yeah.
I wanted to do everything I could to hopefully she could be healed. I wanted to do everything I can. We even brought in a caretaker to
Mm-hmm.
help me because it was wearing me out because I
Yeah.
still had a job. And but during this time as well is when and even when she passed away, I had a lot of stress that you couldn't believe
Yeah.
that I was going through, grief, anxiety attacks, sleepless nights, and you just name it. I probably had an inflammation and so forth. And I think that, in my own personal opinion, all that led and contributed to what I was diagnosed with. I'm not saying it gave me cancer, but I believe it contributed with,
Definitely. Yeah.
yeah, to
Your
do that.
body was weakened significantly, and yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
During that time too, I didn't eat right.
Yeah.
I was just so stressed. I just ate what I could find and stopped somewhere, fast food, what I could find, and it didn't help.
How did you find out?
Well, it was one day my stomach gut was hurting, and I told my wife. And by the way, God gave me a new angel, Linda,
Thank
and
God.
she has been a godsend to me. And but I was told my wife, I said, my stomach's hurting. It's been hurting for a few days, and I don't know what's going on. So I went to the
Hmm.
doctor, and he said I probably pulled a muscle or something, and he gave me some muscle relaxers, et cetera, et cetera. Went from there, and then we had another. It just kept hurting. It seemed like it didn't go away, and I went back to the doctor, and basically the doctor said, "Well, look, let's do some tests. Let's rule out the worst thing first,
Yeah.
which is cancer or whatever bad thing."
Right.
So they took me to the radiologist and the radiology surgeon, whatever. We did a biopsy, and again, and then I was at Target when I got the phone call from the doctor that said that I was diagnosed with lymphoma, and
They did biopsy of what?
they did a biopsy of one of my groin from my groin area because I was hurting here, and
Okay.
so they did a biopsy. I guess one of my lymph nodes, and I
Okay.
can't remember. I may have had uh, a scan or something
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
done. Everything all runs
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, and so that's why they did the biopsy to where they found that my lymph node was swollen a little bit, and to the point where he said that I had lymphoma. So,
Wow.
and I was at Target with my wife, and when I got the phone call, again, another moment where I was just silent. We were silent. I'm like, what in the world? Never
Yeah.
had cancer in my family. Like what is going on? Could have been something, the things I went through that didn't help it. And so he told me a oncologist, hematologist to go to, which I love now, and that was a godsend as well.
Yeah. Hey, eventually we get the right people in our path to help us. So that's
We
thank
do.
God. So, and this your diagnosis was of how
It
many
was
years
it,
ago?
it was lymphoma, but it basically it's turned out it's chronic lymphocytic leukemia.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a type of blood cancer.
But I
Uh,
was asking when was the diagnosis of
the
your?
diagnosis was 2018, I believe it
Mm-hmm.
was.
Yeah.
And I'm in what they call a wait and watch because it's a slow moving cancer. Some people may not have to have no treatment at all.
Hmm.
Some people may have to have treatment maybe in 10 years or what have you. But since 2018, so it's been about 7 going on 8 years, um, I don't have to have any treatment yet, but it could be coming.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I have an enlarged spleen as well. and hopefully it doesn't grow anymore. I'm praying, but uh, treatment could be around the corner, or it could be a little while longer. It's just see what happens to my upcoming blood test and oncologist meeting.
Yeah. Wow. It's 7 years living with uncertainty, basically. But
Yeah.
at some point, you started realizing that you better start taking care of yourself. You can't wait for doctors to just treat the symptoms. You have to be proactive, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
What
yeah.
did
Well,
so what did you do?
when you're diagnosed with something like cancer, what's the first thing people do? They go to Dr. Google,
Hmm.
something you shouldn't do, but that I did.
Yeah.
And you just start going on there, and then you're on social media, you're just looking and looking and looking, and you're thinking about how long do I have to live? That's the first thing you think of. When you have the big C, that just comes to mind,
Yeah.
and other things. But then I got on social media and was and then I heard this lady talk about gut health, and that piqued my interest. So I stopped scrolling and I just listened to her for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And she was talking about gut health and what do you do for your gut health, et cetera, et cetera. And I began to follow her. I added her as a friend, and one thing led to another, and I started doing uh, taking things that would help me uh, to eat right and to
Yeah.
live healthy.
Was it difficult to change your habits about food?
No, yes, it was. Man, it is. It's still difficult. I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't. I mean, there are times even today I splurge, but I understood the way to eat, how you're supposed to eat, in the sense of fruits and vegetables and berries.
Mm-hmm.
That is so very important in one's eating habits and life, because it's just you need to have fruits and vegetables and berries, and that's what I began to focus on. Is that even some diets like the Mediterranean diet, they focus on fruits and veggies. You know, you go into the grocery store right there at the counter, you're going to see all these magazines, and most of them, especially health magazines, are going to be talking about fruits and vegetables that you need to intake in your body so that you will heal. I mean, even the Bible talks about having fruits and veggies from the Daniel fast on and on throughout the Bible. But that's what I began to do when I got in contact with this lady.
Yeah. And it's a good move because your issues started in the gut. So it
Yeah.
kind of showed you that something is going on in the body that you need to pay attention to. Yeah, it's social media could be deceiving, but it could be also good source of when you spend enough time and you have high enough motivation to really find what works for
Oh
you.
yeah. You have to
You
be
you
careful.
will you will
Hmm.
get there. Yeah. So quite a few years, and you started changing your diet, and that
Yeah.
was all you did at time being.
Well, what I did was, yeah, I began to, but also when I got in contact with this organization, when it about fruits and veggies and so forth, they were also linked with a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. William Sears. He's nationally known as one of the top pediatricians in the country. He's also known for talking to adults about health as well. He has probably over 70 books. Him and his wife, matter of fact, his wife just passed away recently this past week.
Mm.
But I have many of his books, and but he also had an institute where I became a health coach, and I got certified as a health coach, not by the national organization, but just by through his institute. And then I went a little bit longer and I got master certified as a health coach. Not necessarily to have a business, but just so I know what I need to do to help fight this cancer. what to
Mhm.
eat, what not to eat, what not to drink, et cetera, et cetera. And
Were you surprised what you found?
yes, it's a lot of things I did not know about. What were their superfoods? Like blueberries, one of the top superfoods, and how how again going back to fruits and vegetables, and it's just I didn't know all that. I didn't understand about the lifestyle you need to have, and not just the sedentary lifestyle, but you got to move, you
Yeah.
got to exercise. I mean, that's just part of it. You got when people ask me, I got away from exercise when I talk to people. I say the word move because exercise to a lot of people is a four-letter word, but I use the real four-letter word is move. Let's just move.
Yeah.
And then I learned about attitude. It's up here. It's up here. If you really want to do whatever it takes, you got to have this mindset. And that it all began to work together for me. I got to have this mindset if I'm going to live. Now, when I say about living, now one thing about the cancer that I have, let me just say this: I don't necessarily die with this cancer. What I would die with is when I get an infection, possibly.
Yeah.
Infections is bad for me because I have a low immune system.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, yes, we're older and it's going to take us longer to heal, but it's going to take me really longer to heal because of my immune system is pretty much the
Compromise.
last couple of times it was almost non-existent, very, very low.
Yeah.
So when I work at the hospital, I have to wear a mask and everything because you just don't want to get an infection. You know,
What do you do, Stan,
I
as a
work at a
work?
hospital and I work in the supply chain. I make sure that the nurses and doctors have the supplies and the
Okay.
medical supplies to do what they need to do.
And that's recently, or have you always worked there?
I've done that for the last 13 years.
So you were pretty close to source.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
yeah.
I see my oncologist walking the halls. I see my heart doctor walking the halls. So yeah,
Yeah, isn't it something that we realize until something like that happened that it's really up to us to take care of ourselves, that we can rely on doctors alone, that it's when you get to the doctor, it's usually really late and it's just treating what already happened and was happening probably a few years before that, and that we just
and
didn't pay attention. Yeah.
I was going to say too, when I was talking about the lifestyle and the exercise and the attitude, I do a presentation. It's called the Leaner Living,
Mm-hmm.
Leaner, and I talk about L is lifestyle. Talk about E is exercise, how we need to exercise. I talk about A, attitude, mindset, and then of course I go into N is for nutrition, what we are to eat, and so forth. What foods are good for you, and then the E I talk about eliminating stress, especially the high stress that's ongoing. I mean, we're going to have some stress every day, whether it be traffic or taking a test or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then the R is rest. We need a good amount of 7 to 9 hours of sleep, especially those that are over 55, you know. So I just
Yeah.
call it the leaner living.
That's brilliant. Yeah. It's because it's never just one thing. It's several things that have to come together to improve whatever we need to improve. And it's not a quick fix. You didn't
No,
get where you are overnight. It was contributing, and you now looking back realize what could have been done maybe earlier, but we never know. It's just sometimes we have to learn the hard way. And I
never
don't
know.
wish this on anybody, and I'm sorry that you have to go through this twice, but it's probably good that you now know and you now follow and actually use this to help others too, which is very
Right.
positive.
And I do this. I mean, yes, I have cancer. And people may say, "What are you doing talking about health?" Well, I share this because I don't want people to get where I'm at.
Yeah.
I want to inspire others to live healthier now so they won't have to go what I go through.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
it's
why,
admirable, because some people become bitter and look at themselves as a victim and why me, but you turned it around and you just eventually took a responsibility and started looking for things how you can help yourself and educate yourself, because it's really
right.
even though we have so much information on hand, it's hard to navigate through it. It's hard to see what is real and what is somebody's BS. And
Yeah.
when it comes to health and life, there's no joke about it. Yeah.
Yeah. We got so much information out there. The sad thing is we just need wisdom to decipher the difference.
And
Yeah,
I would add also, we have so much information out there and we know exactly what to do, yet we are not doing it.
exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes I joke that people take better care of their pets or their car than of the body that we only have one for a life.
They
And
do.
it's unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I try to talk to, even young people. I was talking to someone in their 20s, talking about health, and she said, Mr. Stan, I'm not into health. In other words, she was stopping me, not into, I said, okay, no problem.
Wow.
Some people get it, some people don't.
I'm not into living, huh?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Hmm.
Yeah, it just what you just said reminds me of when I was years back. I was in Czech Republic. That's my
Hmm.
homeland, and
Uh-huh.
I was editor in chief, and I was interviewing some pretty famous people there. And I had the privilege to interview one really, really lovely, wise actor who was very famous. He was in his 80s, and he told me one sentence that I never forget. The experience is untransferable. They have to go through it themselves. They have to fall on their nose. They would never believe you. If you try to prevent the same mistake that you did, they will never, its experience is untransferable. And it's just so, because we are desperately trying to bell the alarms and show people there is another way. You don't have to wait until something happens. You can take some action now. But
Right.
yeah, unfortunately, most of us only wake up when after something happens.
Yeah. After something happens, exactly. And that's why I don't want people to do what I had to go through. I had to have 3 wake up calls where I finally got it, you
Yeah.
know. And so I try to tell people, look, just make one simple change. Just start there. You don't have to go in your cupboards and throw everything out, and you have to go in your refrigerator, throw everything. Look, just make one simple change.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have white bread, try wheat bread, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, just one simple change at a time. That's
Yeah,
all.
it's much more bearable than when you expect people to turn their life around, and they
Yeah,
just
it
throw
is.
hands and it's overwhelming and they wouldn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't judge anybody if they went out and got a Big Mac. I never judge anybody on that. If
Mm.
they ask me, I would say, well, I mean, hey, just cut back, you know. And I just try to get them to just start here, start there.
Hmm.
Don't try to do anything drastic all in one day and thinking that you're going to succeed by doing all this big stuff. 9 out of 10 times just doesn't work.
It's a recipe for not doing anything at all because it
Right,
becomes too much. Habits are very hard to break, and you are absolutely right. It needs
right.
step by step, and it starts adding up. That's absolutely right. So,
Yeah.
do you currently work with people do you currently work with people to help them with the life
No, I don't
changes?
currently work. A lot of people ask me advice on certain things, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't, like I said, I don't do it as a business, but I love to talk to people. I
Yeah.
love speaking publicly. As you know, I love speaking on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, every chance I get, I love to share a story. I love to share about health and just inspire others, but I haven't had a one-on-one session
Okay.
with someone.
That's totally fine. Well, that's a good exposure for you as well as a speaker to get noticed by some organizers, because it's always so much more impactful when somebody speaks from their own experience
Yeah.
than just reciting data or doing saying what should be done but didn't live through it. And it's that's why I like to retell story like yours, because we all talk about it, we all kind of know, but we all think that it doesn't relate to us, or it, like we are fine, like we don't have to do anything. And how many times I spoke with people and I don't understand why I should be doing something different. I'm fine, I'm healthy, I'm on
Mm.
5 different medications, but I'm healthy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if you are on 5 different medications,
Listen,
you
yeah,
are not healthy. You have
exactly.
controlled symptoms.
Well, I tell people that say they're healthy, I said, well, good, but just remember this: you're healthy until you're not.
Yeah.
And
And it's not meant to scare people, but it is, when you think of it, it's really arrogant, because we have no idea what's going on inside of us.
oh
Not
no, you're
everything
right.
shows up on a blood work, even if you go regularly, because again, going back to my husband, he was having blood works every 3 months. There was zero red flags.
And I
He
mean,
was,
I yeah, I
taking
mean,
care of himself. Yeah.
yeah, and I have close family members. They do not go to the doctor.
Yeah. Well, that's personal
You know,
choice. I mean,
it
it's,
is. I
you
mean, they
know,
don't. I mean, I'm talking about just for checkups.
that's like a different life philosophy. That reminds me of my dad. My dad was fireman, and he was working with welding, and he was also smoker and drinker his whole life. Worked super hard, but he was really not taking care of himself whatsoever. He always said that the body is supposed to go to the grave destroyed, and he did a
Ooh,
good job on that. That was his life philosophy.
wow.
And he would not go to doctor too until really something super super serious that forced him to go. And unfortunately he got diagnosed pretty early age, 73 I think.
Mm,
And when he realized big C as well, and they were telling them treatments and stuff, he went through some radiations, and then he decided like what has to be, and kind of gave up. And there are people that decide to go through life like that, and I don't judge them or anything.
no, no, I
i
don't judge them
just
either.
I just believe that in today's world there's almost no excuse that if you really want to live long, none of us want to live long without the quality of life. We don't want to live
Exactly.
long that somebody would
Hmm.
have to take care of us, of course. So there
Exactly.
are things that are not so difficult to do, to to take care of yourself and to be active. And one of my friends in Czech Republic once said, I want to die with my boots on. And I think that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
exactly, I love that.
Right.
As far as I can move and as far as I can do stuff that I love to do, why not? Life is
Exactly.
really precious.
Exactly.
So tell me what, like you linked with the company that does the uh, juices. They tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm with a company that is called Juice Plus,
Mm-hmm.
and what it is basically is whole food, plant-based nutrition. It's in a capsule, or it's in powder form, or it's in chewable or gummy for children or
Mm-hmm.
adults that don't like capsules, what have you. And it doesn't take the place of fruit and veggies. It helps bridge the gap. Because as you know, the FDA says we're supposed to have 7 to 12 servings of vegetables and fruits every single day.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know anybody that does that. I'm sure it may be one out there that does that or two. But um, what I take is 30 fruits and vegetables, but it's in a capsule or powder or gummy. But it helps bridge the gap
Yeah.
because I don't get my 7 to 12 servings a day, but this helps. And
Yeah.
again, doesn't take the place. And then we have uh, shakes that are plant-based shakes, vanilla and chocolate, which help too. And I like doing that,
Hmm.
putting in some nutrition, throwing in some vegetables, or not vegetables, but fruit and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, it's just so good. So
Yeah.
that's what I take that has helped me, I believe, to the point where I did not have to have any treatment as of yet. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't cure or diagnose. It's just a help that
It
helps
supports your
me.
body to be able to fight it off and deal with it better, for sure.
Exactly.
And also, you said all those servings of fruits and vegetables, absolutely nobody has that. But also, the fruit and vegetables we get today are from such a depleted soil that it hardly had that same nutritional value that it used to have even 50 years ago.
Oh
It's
yeah. I
it's
mean,
really scary. Yeah.
if we're getting fruit and vegetables, whatever, or fruit, let's say from another country, they're going to pick it early and it's going to be depleted of the nutrients as it was before it got ripe. And they're hoping that as they send it over here, it gets ripe, but it's still not going to have the nutrients
Yeah.
because they picked it early like it should.
And the soil is depleted because they want to get as much profit from the land as possible, so nobody cares about the proper farming. It's very exceptional, and then add to it pesticides, and it's a recipe for that. It's not always people's fault. I know a lot of people that try to eat healthy
Oh
or
yeah.
believe that they do healthy, but it's also the resources that we have, that you have to be really detective to be sure that what you are doing, it's really actually good for you.
Well, this is the time of year, the summertime, where we should be supporting our local farmers market because they have all the nutritious
Yeah.
fruits and veggies and berries there now, whatever is in season right now. So I would go and get those fruits and veggies right now and enjoy.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you can do organic, I would do that because I once met a young couple at the farmers market here in Florida, and I couldn't believe my ears because they were discussing if it's worth it to get it organic or not. And I was at that time professionally in holistic nutrition, so I knew all about it. And so I was just curious where their conversation would go. And the girl said, well, you don't have to take potatoes organic because they are in the ground.
Wow.
And I was looking at her and I'm thinking, like, where do you think all that rain washes all those chemicals?
Yep. Exactly.
Like the logic there, I was really shocked. The local farming, definitely, if you have that opportunity,
Yeah.
please do that.
Support them. Yes.
Because not only, like you said, they pick the fruits way before they are ripe, so they can prolong the shelf life. Then you have no nutrition from the sun and from ripening, but also the resource where it comes from, we don't really know. So the more
Right.
closer to you and more in season, the more beneficial to us all. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
no, nothing wrong with supplementing to make sure that you get enough of the
Oh yeah.
nutrition that you
Uh,
need,
Yeah.
especially in your case because you need to boost that immune system.
And I do supplements too, and I try to do supplements that are backed by science and it's been
Hmm.
researched. And that's why I went with this company. And I'm sure there are others out there, but this is the one that I come in contact with. And I mean, I take other supplements too. I mean, I take magnesium and and vitamin D, because these will show up on my blood work
Hmm.
as well, because of the disease I have. I mean, if you're not getting them through your vegetables, then yes, people need to supplement them as well. But that's why I do it, because of my disease, and B12, uh, things like that, vitamin C, and but that's just for me that I do because of what I'm going through.
Hmm. Well, Stan, I'm really grateful that you were open enough to share your story with us, and I love that you use it as a motivation to change things around and possibly help others, to remind them that the life is valuable for all of us, and there can be things done that will improve their health for sure.
Right.
And I just
Thank you.
hope you will, I just hope you will be doing well, continue doing well, and
Me too.
eventually end up with clean health, Bill, because that would be fantastic. And
Exactly.
you do all the right things. So I really commend you for taking
Well,
charge
thank
of
you.
your
I
health and
appreciate it.
trying to, it's not going against science or going against doctors or anything, but if you're sitting back and just waiting for things to happen or just waiting what the doctor will say, there's big part that we have to play
Oh yes,
in our own
we need
life.
to be
And
proactive. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny because, like I said, when I was younger, I was like the same way, you don't pay attention until something happens.
Something happens.
But then looking back, you wish you could warn the others not to let it go that far,
Exactly.
but they do.
I know it.
Yeah.
Amen.
So one thing that you would like to say at the end to for people to kind of remember and stay with.
Well, basically, just it's one day at a time. Just take one day at a time and make one simple change a day, or a week, or a month, whatever. That's all it takes. Just one simple change, and take one day at a time, and just try to eat right. There's something, I call it the 5S diet, that maybe people may want to try. It all starts with S's. Uh, what you eat. In other words, first S is smoothies.
Mm-hmm.
Try to eat a smoothie with nutritious fruit in it every day. Sip on it throughout the day. It's like a chocolate shake. Number two, I try to eat salmon, to get my omegas in
Mm-hmm.
there as well. Number three, I try to eat salads. I like eating salads with salmon on top, as well. And then the fourth S is smart snacks. If anybody loves to snack, it's me. And I love snack, but we got to be smart about it.
Yeah.
And then the last S is science-based supplements. And just take the ones that you can trust.
Yeah.
And that's what I would leave with you. Try the 5S diet, so to speak, and go from there.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. You don't have to go all scientific crazy. You don't have to
Right.
do some crazy changes that are not sustainable. But little step at the time, like Stan says, is better than no step at all.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Stan. I wish you all the best. It was really pleasure to meet you, and I hope that your story will inspire others to start looking at things differently and maybe take little changes along the way to improve our chances, because one sad truth is that none of us is gonna live here alive, but
Right.
we can do the best with the time we have, all of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make the most of every opportunity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.